Money Radio, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to get together with Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Sinclair.
We are going to follow up on last week's conversation. We were talking last week about how a contract is kind of like a marriage.
Yes.
And today we're going to talk about the prenup for
Yeah,
that marriage.
oh, perfect. The prenup, that's a great word.
Okay. Laura Bramnick is an attorney, a consumer advocate. She represents everyday people in their residential and commercial and land transactions. Laura holds an active Arizona real estate license. She has been a real estate investor, worked in the mortgage industry, has served as a certified instructor with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. For more information, the website talkrealestateaz.com. talkrealestateaz.com, or call 480-624-2705, 480-624-2705, because Laura actually does answer her own phone.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. So we were talking last week, a contract is like entering a marriage, but you also need to plan an exit strategy.
That's very important. There's, a lot of things that can happen that you need to try to anticipate ahead of time, because once they happen and the pressure builds up, sometimes people are not very open to negotiating a reasonable settlement. Emotions get high, and certain things have happened that cause bad blood, and so I see it happen most often if people are maybe a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, but maybe they're not married. Maybe they've been together a long time and they live together, but they don't want to rent anymore, so
Right.
they decide to buy property together.
Or family members.
Parent and child is big. It's not unusual for adult children to help their elderly parents buy property, and it's much more common for parents to help younger children who are young adults buy property, because a lot of times those younger adult children don't have enough credit. It's not usually that they have bad credit, they just don't have a good enough credit history to qualify. They may not have a down payment, and so, or reserves, so there's different reasons why family members help each other. And also, it's not unusual for friends to help each other. Some friends get together and invest in property, or especially when, several years ago, when real estate was booming, people wanted to get in, and many times friends, invested together. And they really found, because many of those people did not front load their contracts, when the market crashed, they really found out what difficulty they had in resolving their issues.
How do we front load a contract?
Well, my first recommendation is it's really important to see a real estate lawyer, because people like me have seen what can go wrong. Where if you are not in that field, you could be a teacher, a physician, or a business person, you don't know what can fall through the cracks. And it's much less expensive to pay a lawyer to help you draft the contract than it is to pay a lawyer to litigate later. And so, but the common issues are, what if someone dies? What if someone loses their job or their income? They become disabled. And it's also very, very complicated if, let's say there's a mortgage on the property and only one person qualified.
Right.
Because the other person then can not pay and nothing bad will happen to their credit. So you really need to discuss what's going to happen in that situation and set a plan. And also, if one dies, you definitely want to hold the property in joint tenancy so that there's no court order required to sell the property. We see that a lot with families.
That brings up a big question. When you're dealing with more than one owner, there's always a question of how to hold title.
Yes, and there's certain ways to hold title where you don't have to have a court order, and there's other ways where you do. Also, many people set up an LLC.
Right.
And they can set it up in such a way that more than one person can manage the LLC or sign on behalf of the LLC. And also, an LLC is a good idea for a variety of reasons. We've talked about certain liability protections.
Sure.
But also, usually you have an LLC bank account, and you can maybe put some reserves in there to pay for certain things in addition to repairs, but also reserves in case somebody can't come up with their share for a period of time.
But even in an LLC, you need to spell out the responsibilities and the obligations.
Yes, and that is done in the operating agreement. And many people set up an LLC without an attorney because it's not that hard. But most of those people don't set up the operating agreement. And even though there's templates that you can find online, you need to customize it to your particular situation. So also you can use a power of attorney. There's many, if you don't want to set up an LLC right away, there's many vehicles that can be used to help people front load potential problems.
You've got to think, what if somebody is not in a position to sign or make a decision, or they're indisposed, sick, or deaf? Then that power of attorney really becomes important.
Yeah. Now also, when people are in conflict, they can't even, maybe they agreed to sell the property, but they can't even agree on which realtor to hire. So these types of things can be front loaded, and how it's going to be decided when to accept an offer.
You've got to have a contract. It's like a marriage.
Yes.
And you need to build in some solutions on the front end and for the back end.
Because if you have to go to court, it's astronomically expensive, and it takes a lot of time, which means the property sits there until the court can decide what to do with it.
We're back to the old idea, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yes.
Okay, Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com, TalkRealEstateAZ.com. She is a real estate attorney, but also a real estate agent. It's a great twofer. TalkRealEstateAZ.com, or call 480-624-2705, 480-624-2705. Laura, as always, great information. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Sinclair.